Bumgardner with AAFMAA, the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. For over 144 years, we have been serving our military community to be the premier provider of financial solutions for the armed forces. As a director of partnership and member engagement, I talk with other nonprofit organizations about what they are doing to help service members, their families, veterans, and the military community at large. And today's topic is Air Force Aid Society and how they provide financial, educational, and family support to airmen and guardians. I am honored to have Mr. Kaleth O Wright here today. In his 32 years of service, he was named the 18th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, the highest appointed non-commissioned career officer position in the Air Force. He retired from his incredibly impressive career in 2020, where he began service as the Chief Executive Officer of the Air Force Aid Society, whose mission is to provide financial, educational, and family support to airmen and guardian. Thank you, Mr. Wright, so much for taking the time today to talk to our AAFMAA members about the work that Air Force Aid Society is doing.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had an incredible military career until you retired in 2020. How did you find your way as a supporter and the CEO of Air Force Aid Society?
Yeah, actually, interesting story. By nature, the position that I was in, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, is automatically on the board of Air Force Aid Society. So I was a board member for my last 3-4 years in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And admittedly, I wasn't a very good board member. I was busy doing quite a few other things. But when right before I retired, I saw an advertisement that they were looking for a new CEO. And I thought to myself, well, this falls right in my wheelhouse of helping airmen. And I had just started helping Guardians as well because the Space Force had just came on board right before I retired. And I thought, yeah, I think I can do it, and put my name in the hat, and the rest is history.
That's wonderful. Air Force Aid Society is a partner of AAFMAA. And as I got to learn more and more about the type of assistance that Air Force Aid Society provides, I was really impressed by the depth of assistance. A lot of times we think of aid societies as responding to natural disasters for financial aid, but there is a whole breadth of assistance that Air Force Aid Society provides. Could you kind of share about what we might not be thinking about as far as aid that you provide?
Absolutely. So we have a broad range of assistance categories that we support airmen and guardians. Like you mentioned, disaster relief is just one relatively small part of what we do. But some of the other areas where we help out are what we consider basic living expenses. So we help people on a regular basis almost every day just with buy food, with pay utilities, pay their rent and mortgage. We do a lot of vehicle repairs. We do a lot of what we consider emergency transportation, emergency travel. So when airmen or guardians lose a family member and they need to travel from one part of the world to another part, then we pay for their airfare, lodging, and some basic expenses to buy food. We do a lot of pet surgery. We pay for surgeries for pets. I know pets. I have 2 dogs myself, and so I know how near and dear pets can be to folks. We do a lot of work with our special needs children in that community. We have a wounded warrior category. We do home repairs. We help people pay their rent and mortgage when they, all these things are based upon airmen and guardians falling upon hard times, which we all certainly understand that happens in life. So pretty broad range, and we're open to just about. There are a few things that we don't typically help out with, mostly legal matters, divorces, and things of that nature. Yeah. But we have a pretty broad range, and the team is very flexible on what we can help out with. Up until the Department of Defense changed the PET PCS rule and started supporting people PCSing from overseas locations to and from overseas locations, we actually had a category which was a $1,000 grant to help people ship their pets from either from CONUS to overseas or from overseas back home. And folks didn't have to abandon their pets overseas, which had been happening for some time.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And as you kind of were discussing about is that, you do assistance such as groceries or rent. And it's kind of no secret that these are a little bit slightly harder times financially for the military, with the rising cost of groceries and food insecurities and living expenses and rents, and money can be really, really tight. And with that, there can be sometimes a bit of a stigma in asking for help. And it sounds like you all are very welcoming into saying, if you need help, please come, please ask us. We'll find a way to give a grant or be able to assist you. How do you break down to airmen and guardians the stigma in asking for help as a weakness?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason that we exist, right? That's the reason you exist. That's the reason we exist, is to help people who are in financial need. And, it seems like it would be a no-brainer that, hey, if you need help, just ask for it. But the reality is there are some folks in leadership positions who might say that it's okay to ask for help, but they might do something different. They might exclude the individual from opportunities, or they might treat them a certain way if they reveal that they have financial difficulties. I think the other thing that comes into play is sometimes financial difficulties can impact security clearances and other things. And then some of it is just the embarrassment of saying, hey, I need help, especially if you happen to be a more senior member of the service. So, but what I would say to every airman and guardian, retiree, guardsman, reservist that's out there is, hey, there should be no stigma attached. If you need financial assistance, you should go to our website and click on the button and apply. Someone will respond to you immediately and try to get all of the data. We got kind of go through a normal data gathering phase, and but I love to see more people coming to us, so that, especially because sometimes, because of the stigma, because of the embarrassment or what have you, people wait too long and then they find themselves in a worse situation. So, and then for every leader out there, I think you should encourage your folks to use us as a resource, because that's why we exist.
Yeah, that's a great point, is, as a senior leader yourself, is, articulating that to other senior leaders, that if you, are experiencing this within, your unit, that there is a place and a reference, right, that you can refer people to, right, these airmen and guardians and their families, to Air Force Aid Society, to say this is a place that you can go, a safe place to go to get help in that. And you made a great point in that it's not just for the active duty, right? It's for veterans, it's for the reservists, it's for anyone kind of who wore that uniform, which is important, right? To be able to help everyone. Could you give maybe some success stories or examples of how Air Force Aid Society kind of made a significant impact on the lives of these families during their challenging financial times?
Yeah. So I'll give you a few real quickly. One, I would say one of our biggest success stories this year is, a typhoon just hit the island of Guam and caused a lot of damage. And we did about $1.5 million in assistance. And we started getting assistance to those members, money in their pockets, within about 2 to 3 hours of the hurricane hitting. So I think that was really helpful for a lot of those folks. But under some of our other programs, we had a young lady who was she was graduating from a program in Florida. All of her family came to visit from California, and unfortunately, her father passed away while she was finishing up this program, and so she needed assistance getting her father's remains back to California. And so we were able to help her out in that case. We had a couple of special needs families earlier this year. We had, one special needs family where their daughter needed a specific type of wheelchair. TRICARE paid for kind of the basic one, but we were able to get her the souped up one with the nice tires where she can move on gravel. And then I would say the last one that was very impactful for us was, we had a young lady who was diagnosed with a terminal illness and needed a certain type of bed. Again, TRICARE would only pay for kind of a normal hospital bed that wasn't very comforting. And we were able to come in and purchase one of the higher end beds that allowed her to be comfortable during the challenging, trying times of dealing with a terminal illness. So, stories like that. And one of the things that we started doing early this year is we start off every single one of our staff meetings with a story like that. We have one of the caseworkers come in and tell us, and just as a reminder of this is why we do what we do. You know, when you're in leadership, as you know, you can get so caught up in metrics and OKRs and all this other stuff and board reports that sometimes you forget that the people that you're impacting out there every day. And sometimes it's great stories like that. And sometimes it's, hey, we helped an airman today be able to get his car out of the shop. And now he can actually get around.
Yeah.
We love it either way.
Yeah. And it's all impactful, right? So, it's all helping, it's all bringing a better quality of life to airmen and guardians. And I think that's the point in it, right? Is to be able to help, to be able to offer the assistance. That's wonderful. Even if it's, just getting the car out of the shop. Now that person has the ability to maybe, to get their kids to school easier, to get to work easier. It's all part of it. So I thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing and for explaining a little bit more details about what Air Force Aid Society does and kind of all of the aid that's out there. And I think the point to it is that if you need assistance in some way, shape, or form, just ask, right? Like you said, where can people go to ask?
Yeah, they can go. The easiest way is to just go to our website, and it's AAFMAA.org. And there, as soon as you get to the website, there will be a button for you to apply for assistance. If you're hurting in any way, even if you anticipate some financial challenges coming in the near future, you can apply. Although we have some guidelines and rules, again, we're very, very flexible, and we try to work to get you either a full out grant where you don't have to pay back anything, or at a minimum a no interest loan where we'll allow you to pay it off over time at no interest. So.
Yeah. And that's an important kind of distinction, is that, it could be a grant that is just given, as a here's money for you to use, or it could be a loan, but at 0% interest, right? That's the best loan you can get.
And Sarah, it could be a combination of both. Sometimes when the amount that the individual might need exceeds, what we might be able to grant to them, we can do any combination of grant, loan, and we also have the ability at any given time to forgive either all or a portion of the no interest loan.
That's great. Yeah, and like I said, I think the point is just to ask. Right? Just ask. We dropped it in the comment section. It's AAFAS.org, and it sounds like a caseworker will get back with you, and they'll say, hey, let's talk this through. Let's see what we can't do and figure a way forward. And a really good point that you made is doing that on the front end, as opposed to when you're in kind of a true crisis, or you've let something go for too long, is asking ahead of time, right? As opposed to just waiting until something's piling up, is to get ahead of the curve. So that's great. Well, I want to thank you again for the work that you're doing with Air Force Aid Society, and for all of the help that you're giving to airmen and to guardians, and the work that you're doing and sharing that with our AAFMAA membership, so that, if there are any airmen or guardians out there who think, this is a financially hard time, I might have never been in this spot before, but what do I do? Is that you can go to AAFAS.org, or if you're in a senior leadership position and you want to be able to tell, your unit, hey, this is a place that you can go. We can recommend and refer people here if they need assistance. That's also a positive as well.
Absolutely. And I just want to emphasize one more thing. You no longer, and we changed this rule about 2 years ago. Again, if you're a Air National Guardsman or an Air Force reservist, you qualify for full assistance as well, regardless of how many days you've been on orders, or if you're on orders at all. If you're a guardsman or reservist, you qualify for assistance as well. So that's been an important improvement, I think, that we made for our total force components.
Absolutely. That's a great improvement. And I imagine that there's probably a lot more people coming forward that are reservists or guardsmen that, are needing that assistance. So thank you for highlighting that.
Absolutely.
Very much. Well, thank you again, Kaleth, for joining. That is going to wrap up our AAFMAA Live for today. If you would like more information about AAFMAA and financial readiness within the military community, you can, of course, subscribe here to the QR code on the screen. If you are an airman or a guardsman and you are needing assistance, again, AAFAS.org is there to help you. I thank you all for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you on our next live.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.